Hello and welcome to this special bonus episode of The Dairy Edge. Teagasc are running a weekly Let's Talk Dairy webinar series, which is also being made available as a podcast. On this week's webinar, Stuart Childs speaks to Dan O'Riordan from the ICBF about the importance of running the weekly fertility report to maintain records up to date and ensure no cows are missed from being served during the breeding season.
Morning everyone and welcome to today's Let's Talk Dairy. So we're going to do a short and snappy one today because depending on where you are in the country you could be trying to do a multitude of things between AI and maybe getting a bit of silage cut if the weather is falling in your favour today. So today I'm joined by Dan O'Riordan from ICBF. So Dan is going to talk us through how to do the fertility report correctly. So when I started in Teagasc, I suppose back in 2008, John Dunworth was my mentor. John is now retired. And John used to tell us how to calculate the 3-week submission rate was basically go into the dairy and count the number of serves on the AI chart. But thankfully, we've moved on from that and we have a very great facility in terms of the information that we get from ICBF. But obviously, like anything, it's only going to be as good as the information that's gone in. So again, as time has gone on, the arrival of the handhelds for the technicians and so forth has made things very streamlined in terms of the information that goes in. But also, we'll say for the likes of the culling data and so forth that we put in so that we get the reports back out right, it's important that we do that correctly. So quite often we find that we might run a report for a person when we might be doing a group in preparation for it, or maybe just even doing a group report, and we get someone at the group will say, my figures don't seem right there. So that's why I've got Dan on today now, just to give people a run through how to prepare to have the report run correctly and then to actually have a look at the report then as well. So obviously, if the information gone into it is correct in the first place, what we're going to get out from it at the end is important. So Dan, you're just going to give us a kind of a dummy run of how to prepare to run the report and then how to run the report and a few key things, I suppose, that make sure that the reports are correct when people do go to do them. Isn't that it?
No, that's it, Stuart. First of all, Stuart, look, thanks for the invitation here to come on here this morning. As I say, we'll just keep it short and brief, and it's something that we've probably put emphasise there in the plus sightings there to try and run the weekly fertility report there. So, Stuart, I might just try and share my screen here just to try and give a quick demonstration here, hopefully, to the people that are viewing here, hopefully. So, Stuart, when a farmer logs in, this is probably the screen that appears. It's the home screen, as we call it. So, look, you can just jump straight in here and click on Weekly Fertility Report, because we do change this throughout the year for various different things. There's a little help video there as well. You log in off a laptop or a PC if you need to just a quick refresher here after this morning, just to remind people there. And look, if there's any cows that you know that are not intended for breeding at all, you can just go into the mark for culling screen here and tick them off before you run the report as well. So, Stuart, there's two, I suppose, key things there that you need to have, I suppose, to hand before you run the weekly fertility report. And I suppose that's the calving start date and the mating start date. So there's a couple of different ways of doing it. I normally just go into view profiles here and go into herd fertility. And the reason I can do that, because I can pick off, I suppose, the mating start date here. You can filter this up or down here, latest to soonest. So look, the mating start date for this herd here was the 18th of April, and I can make note of that. And then I can make note of the calving date here. So again, you can use the arrow key here. And again, the mating start date here is the 17th of January here for this farmer. So look, there are my two key dates. I can find them here on the fertility profile screen here very quickly and very readily. They're in a couple other places here as well, Stuart. You can go under record events and go to record birth events. And again, you can just see here the first calving here as well.
And so, it's important that you get that first calving date right then, is it?
Yes,
most people will know the date that they've started the AI because it's going to be fresh in their head, but the actual calving start date could be something that could be after drifting out of the mind.
Correct, sir, because in the metrics of the report, will be out and you'll be wondering why cows are missing or whatever, and that's one of the main reasons is the dates are very, very key in actually running this accurately on the report. I got into the mark for culling screen there, and that's the vertivin screen. So, and look, for farmers as well, Stuart, look, some farmers are on technician service, of course, and the serves come in automatically from the handheld device. and they'll have the technicians have apps now as well, and they're coming in automatically as well. Look for the DIY farmer. Look, I know there's DIY farmers using different things. They're using different apps, I'm sure, as well, and software providers. But look, try and make sure the servers are on the ICBF system, and if they're not, just a quick reminder here, Stuart, just to go into the record heat in the eye screen, and just to make sure that the servers are fully up to speed there as well. And you can record them on the HerPlus app as well. And I suppose we try to make this easier as well, Stuart. Look, if you do click in there, we have your Bull 1 and Bull 2 and Bull 3 from Sire Voice coming through, or a stock bull later on. If you have a stock bull in a farm, we've tried to make it easier, and that comes up in the HerPlus app as well. Just a small little tip or trick there for the viewers there this morning. So
it's a matter of sitting down and inputting the data then.
Yeah, inputting the data before you actually run, if there's particularly in the context of the DIY farmers. And there is some maybe technicians, maybe not on the electronic device, they might be just on paper systems for farmers. So there's a little bit of that going on as well out there as well. So look, I'll just go back to the home screen there again. So look, as I say, as we have hopefully made it a little bit easier, I can just click on the blue button here, the weekly fertility report. So now, as this report was run before, Stuart, the calving date is already there, but for a farmer coming in fresh, Stuart, they will have to, as I say, try and just figure out what the calving start date was. So look, I'm just going to generate a report here. So Stuart, is that appearing on screen, the report?
Yeah, it is. Yeah,
Yeah, spot on, Stuart. So look, we have our start date. I look at the target, obviously, Stuart, and you'll be more familiar with this, but look to try and have 100% serve within 6 weeks is the target date there. And look, this farmer, look, maybe slightly weaved off track after 3 weeks, but look, is coming out closer to the target submission rate. That's the dashed line there. So look, this is what I suppose you're really trying to keep an eye on to make sure that you're coming up as close as possible to the target submission date there. Just very quickly, Stuart, look, the mating start date, the calving start date is here, the median calving date, look, the percentage calved, the spring calving pattern here is above on the top piece of the report. But look, I suppose the 21-day submission rate here, within 21 days, the mating start date here is here. So look, you're comparing yourself here to national averages. So look, things are going good enough here. The percentage not bred after that of cows or calves greater than 30 days is listed here. And again, this farmer we're not gone as far as the 42 days yet, maybe just yet on this one.
So that's an important point as well, I suppose, then, that if people are not gone to 21 days yet, so because some people would be, maybe depending on the part of the country that people are in, they might be a little bit later starting, so they won't actually get the figure there if they're not gone to 3 weeks.
If they're not gone to 3 weeks, that's right, Stuart. And look, we do try and, on the background there, probably weekly, that after 21 days, we do try and run a batch there in the background, but the farmer can run this, daily, as well. So there's nothing to stop them there. Look, and maybe farmers up the north or the west might be just AIing that a little bit later than compared down the south. Look, that's the normal pattern of things. And
but like, even if they, if they go in after week 1 and run it, they're still going to get the mapping of the line.
Correct. The line is still going to project, at week 2 or week 3. So look, you don't have to wait for the 3 weeks. So look to make sure that you are on track.
Yeah. I suppose there's an interesting piece there on the top of the next page then as well. Then that's new this year, the equal usage.
So look, Stuart, you were involved with ICBF here. Look, I suppose one of the feedbacks we had from, the various discussion group sessions we held there with various groups there online there in January, December and November there last year, etc., was, look, I suppose, was the equal usage, I suppose, as a message we're trying to, I suppose, focus in on farmers in a little bit more. Look, the previous bull team size and usage here is monitored. We've probably improved this now, that this includes, both dairy and male breakdown. So, this is your previous team size use. This is the top bull you use in 2020, 2021. The number of calves, the most used bull. And look, that's just a look back at where you were before. Again, the minimum number of bulls compared to herd size is listed here on this particular table as well, just to make sure that you are using enough bulls. And look, we just want to, I suppose, again, as we probably might be in week 3 or week 4, look, the usage is probably the one we really inputted into this second page here. This is the new edition, to make sure that no AI bull, in terms of usage, you're not weighing in heavily over greater than 15%,
Yeah, so that's a very good example, obviously, there now with the 9% in both years so far. But like I think was it 31 or 34% was the average from
Yeah,
the
so Stuart, yeah, no, you're bang on. The average usage of bulls last year, for example, is 30%, 31%. You know, 30, where farmers are probably using one bull and 31% of their females. So when they were females, when the calves are looked at, when we looked at the calves being born the following year, 31% were coming from one sire. So look, that's overusage. It's more risky from a management and strategy point of view. And look, there will be changes in evaluations. Look, might be fertility issues with a particular bull. So look, that's why we're trying to, I suppose, re-emphasize the message here that look, not to weigh in heavily, and we hope that this new edition will help farmers to guide them on this. And look, in the below example, look, currently gone as far as 10% here in terms of number of serves here so far. We have the weighted average of the team here. So look, if you're weighing in heavily on a lower EBI bull or higher EBI bull, look, the weighted averages factors in the usage as well. So that should keep you on track, and hopefully that will compare favourably as well with the average that was, you know, projected when you ran the SAR Vice, for example, there in terms of your bull team as well.
And the other thing then, I suppose, is it'll be more up to date, because maybe sometimes you'd see that people don't, in spite of maybe having ordered bulls or whatever, they mightn't always have the number one choice, which is what the sire advice will be running. So this is going to be taken into account what's been actually used as it's been going along, isn't it?
Yeah, correct, Stuart. No, that's a very good point, because look, maybe the bull 2, you might have had to use the bull 2 or bull 3 in the day. It might not have been available technicians pot whatever on the day. So look, that's a very good point, Stuart. Look, that'll keep your weighted average on track, and hopefully that is within your overall projections, what you had picked in terms of mix of index and fertility, etc. You know, so again, this is hopefully a more live, up to date tool there, just to keep in mind there as well. But I suppose, Stuart, if I roll on to page 3 here, I suppose this is really the key one here. It really highlights cows that maybe we should be taking a look at now, you know, that are calf greater than 30 days. That we haven't AI'd them, they haven't come cycling, we haven't seen them. So, you know, that top cow there, for example, there is calf 76 days there now, and I suppose the question would be, does this cow need to be scanned? Maybe does she have a cyst? Does a vet now need to take a look at her? You know, this is the action list here, and of course you'll be hoping, Stuart, as each week as the breeding season goes by, that this action list will be getting shorter and shorter, you know. So this will be highlight cows, you know, that may have reproductive issues there and might need investigation there. So look, we'll be hoping this is just it's as important as any page on this 3-page report, I suppose, as such. You know, the action list is the one that would focus in the minds to look at problem cows now this time of the year.
Yeah, I suppose the point, and again, no, because the farm that you're using there has gone a good bit into their breeding season already now. Like, the list is quite short there at this stage, but I suppose looking at this for me is very important from the point of view that there's a big focus on those first 3 weeks in particular, and then people probably can maybe tend to take the foot off the pedal a small little bit, and this is how we end up with this kind of lagging calving potentially then, because there's the forgotten girls, as Doreen calls them, I think. They've calved a little bit later, or there's something wrong with them and they just get missed, and we'll say average herd size for the dairy ball catchment and the Kerry catchments are 90 to 100 cows. Like, so 1 or 2 cows could slip through the net there quite quickly, and there might be very little wrong with them, and they could be straightened out very quickly for just want of realising that they have slipped through the net, maybe, isn't it?
Yeah, no, that's a fair point, Stuart. And look, of course, we're probably on the cusp of silage kicking off and there's other distractions on farm. So look, I suppose this is a great tool. Look, whether there's others on working on farm, whatever, can just refer to this, you know, and as well. So look, I think those are great points, definitely, that you just made there.
Yeah, and you make a good point there about the silage, because I was talking to 1 or 2 technicians there in the last few days, and they said that once the silage starts, that they tend to find that people just stop serving, and there's 2 risks, I suppose, associated with that. Like, it's obviously the cows that are on this list are being left to a bull to pick them up at some stage, and we don't really know, maybe. So we're there's a long wait. Like, so we'll say take the first girl there on the list there at 76 days calved. Maybe the bull mightn't get to her now for 3 weeks, and there's an awful long period of time gone that she could have actually been corrected and submitted in that period of time. And then just the sheer pressure that could be on a number of bulls, maybe there mightn't be enough bulls gone in to get cows in calf, and as I said already, we get this lower lagging calving then, and maybe a long tail after getting a very good start to the season, and all for the want of maybe staying sticking to the plan for another couple of weeks. Like, so just following through on those cows is important, and as you said, it's probably one of the most important pages nearly, unless if you move back up along through the report, unless you're well off the line in terms of your submission rate, then obviously there's a major question to be asked there as to what's happening. But that last page of that report is probably the one that people need to be jumping to very quickly, as soon as once they can see that everything is okay on page 1.
And Stuart, just one thing here, I suppose, look, note the calving difficulty here as well. Maybe some of this cows did a very hard calving, and look, if you had some assistance or difficult calving entered in here, it does shed light. You normally see, when this list gets smaller, you're probably going back to maybe some calving issues as well, so look, that's the reason why that particular piece of information is inputted there as well, for just to give a little bit extra guidance as well, that you can just refresh memories. Maybe that was a hard carver and stuff, and it does tend to lead back to that a small bit as well.
Yeah, very good. So I suppose just to point out as well, I suppose then at the top corner there, that spring dairy calving pattern, that can vary from, we'll say, when you run the calving report later, because that's actually operating off the dates that you actually started, whereas the calving report is going to adjust for when you should have started calving, isn't it?
No, the calving report, this works off the calving. This is the spring. This will be the pattern stored for the farmer himself for this year, because that works off the calving, the 17th to the 1st.
Yeah.
Do you understand?
But it will say if he was due to start calving a couple of days later, when the calving report will be run there.
Oh yeah, so Stuart,
the calving report could be slightly different, like.
Yeah, the calving report could be a little bit slightly different, Stuart, because our calving report, look, for example, if a cow calved, if your projected start date, we'll just say, for example, this example was we'll say the 22nd of January.
Yeah.
And we'll just say a cow calved earlier and maybe had one abortion, she doesn't get included in the calving report that we'll be running there in July, or in the June, start of July, she'll be discounted.
So just for example, the only reason I bring it up is people often question that, how's there different figures there. So we'll say when this is run, when the calving report is done in July, as you said there, that herd could actually have a calving 6-week calving rate of 81 or 82% potentially, kind of scenario. Like, so there'll just be a slight difference, but that's the reason for it.
Yeah, we are looking at when the first serve, and if she's marked in calf, and we are looking when that projection, because look, things could go wrong in that first calving.
Yeah.
You could have first calving the first week of January, and you mightn't be projected to the calf till the first week of February. So we do try and factor that into the calving report,
Yeah, very good. So if there's any questions, people can pop them in there just in the next minute or two, and we'll put them to Dan. But so the long and the short of it is, I suppose, we've a huge amount of information in the whole ICBF database, full stop, and we shouldn't be trying to harvest the value of that. So everybody's paying for their Herd Plus reports, etc., and this is why we pay for them, to have this information available to us and to allow the lads to generate information and KPIs for farms to target and to operate. So as Dan said, the 90% submission rate in the 3 weeks is our objective, and we need to be tracking that. And if we can't measure it, we can't manage it. So we need to be tracking that, and you can be doing that throughout the first 3 weeks. You don't have to wait for the 3 weeks, but you just won't get that figure appearing on section C there on the key performance indicator until you have the 3 week period done. And look, I suppose, as I said, it's a target. I know from talking to farmers and from personal experience, you could argue that could be 24-day submission rate, and you could have 92% at 24-day and be under the 90 on 21-day, but that's just the 21-day cycle is taken as the average of the cow, and that's the objective, to try and hit that in our 3 weeks. So the information that goes in is going to be important, I suppose, to take away from it. From what Dan has said today, if you're running this to get it accurate, you need to know the calving start date and you need to know your breeding start date. So most people, as I said, will know that breeding start date off the top of their head, because you'll know when you've started in the last couple of weeks or what day you started. The calving date, with the best will in the world, has probably gone out of most people's minds as to when you actually started. So Dan showed you there how to find that. There's a couple of different ways to pick it up. And once that information is correct, then you're going fairly well in terms of the report that you're going to generate. And the final piece of the jigsaw is that if there are cows that you're not going to be submitting for service this year, or that you want to take them from the herd and you don't want them to breed, they may get bred accidentally. You have to mark those out in order for this report to be accurate. Otherwise, it's going to be counting those cows, and you may not want them to be included in it. So they're very quiet today, Dan. You've obviously given them a comprehensive rundown, so no questions. So we can wrap it up at that.
Yeah. Stuart, I might just mention two quick things very quickly. I just think they're maybe a little bit unknown in ICBF, or maybe underused, but look, there's two profile screens that may be useful there. Look, cows due a first serve come up on a listing there just as well, very quickly under view profiles as well, in case of farmers out on farm and he just wants to quickly jump in to look at them. And then very quickly, Stuart, we kind of have a due repeat profile screen here, which I think is useful here for the point of view of just monitoring, when you AI the cow, look, she be this cow now, for example, is projected to be, if she was going to be coming back into turning up or whatever, between the 27th of May. So I think there's tools here that maybe farmers don't readily use as well, and May's day since the last serve. So look, there's other little tools just to keep the monitoring and keep the progress scoring as well, that just very quickly to touch on those.
Is that available through the app?
Those are available through the app, Stuart, but it's probably easier to see a list like that quicker, I would probably argue, off a laptop or PC, just to jump in the evening, just to keep it with it is visible on the app as well, yeah.
Okay. And just, I suppose, maybe somebody that joined a bit late there, will you just run through how to mark out the cows? The call, actually, you showed the list probably, but you didn't.
Oh, yeah. So very quickly, as I say, you can just, this is the screen you'll see when you log in for laptop or PC, but it's available under record events, marked for culling, or if you just click on the blue there, you can just divert straight in there to mark cows for culling there.
And you just click on the reason there, we said at the side,
you
can save it then after that.
There and save change in the bottom right hand corner.
Yeah. Okay, and you're just not saving that because you don't want to be culling any cows.
No, I think my manager Kevin might have a problem there.
So very good. That's super stuff then. So that everybody can run that report. I suppose just to highlight the app, because I know some of my colleagues have been saying it. People often that the app that you have is free. The app that anyone can download that. There are other apps, obviously software providers out there that are providing apps. So Munster have one, Agrinet, Kingswood, Herdwatch, I suppose they're the four main ones really. I'd say I'll apologise if I've missed anybody,
there's sort. I don't think I could list them all myself at this stage. There's
yeah, and they're options for people to use, and like Dan has said, they're giving those kind of lists as well due to repeats when cows should be seen in heat and when they have been seen in heat and so forth. And they're in the pocket basically. That's the advantage of them, and you have that option available to people too as well. So if people want to download the ICBF app as well, while it mightn't be as maybe visible or easy to view as it would be on the screen, then I suppose at least you have it in the pocket there at any stage. And that due to repeat is fierce handy from the point of view of a cow maybe not sure, is she not, kind of, you have a little bit of reassurance that she's due to come back if you see some activity from her, there's a chance that she could be on the point of repeating, like.
Yeah, exactly.
From that point of view.
Exactly, definitely. Sort of just something that I think a small bit maybe underutilized maybe there by farmers, but in general they're not aware of it's there. But look, I think it's a very useful tool just if you're just wondering if should she be coming into heat again or not,
Yeah, and I suppose just to finally re-emphasize that because it's named weekly fertility report doesn't mean that you can't run it every day if you wanted to. So just to be filtering through that problem cow report as well, like the problem cow report.
The action list.
The action list, exactly. Yeah.
The action list, Stuart. Yeah.
Okay, so hopefully people found that useful. Thanks very much, Dan, for coming on.
Very welcome, Stuart.
We wish everybody well for the coming week. I just see Senator Tim Lombard talking about the risk of health and safety with silage being slightly behind schedule at the moment because of the weather conditions. So just warn people to try and be as careful as possible if the forecast is coming good for the weekend and people are at silage, everybody to take care, and including the guys that are driving the tractors and trailers obviously as well, to look out for them to make sure that they're okay as well. So take care everybody in the meantime, and we'll be back next week and we'll talk to you then, and take care in the meantime. Thanks, Dan.
Thanks, Stuart. Bye-bye.
That's all from this week's Let's Talk Dairy webinar series, and don't forget to look out for more bonus episodes each week. I'll be back with our usual Dairy Edge interview on Monday, so do listen in then. I'm Emma Louise Coffey, and thanks for listening.